You know, you've probably seen it. That picture-perfect, deep green lawn, maybe at a sports stadium with those perfect stripes. And then you look at your own yard and it's a bit patchy, a little sad. And you have to wonder, what is the secret? Well, let's get into it, because it's not some kind of magic trick. It's a program. So what is it really? Is there one magic fertilizer? Is it about watering at the exact right time of day? The truth is, it's actually way simpler and at the same time much more powerful than any single gimmick. The secret is a system. It's a professional approach that's built on 5 core principles that all have to work together. And today, we're going to break down all 5, right from the playbook that the pros use for turf management. Okay, first things first, and this is totally non-negotiable. You have to know what you're working with. Before you even think about mowing or fertilizing or watering, you have to know what kind of grass you actually have. Generally speaking, your lawn is going to fall into one of 2 big camps: warm season grasses or cool season grasses. They have totally different life cycles, different strengths, and, this is the big one, they have very different needs. Getting this one simple thing wrong is the cause of so many lawn care headaches. And here's a perfect example of why this is so critical. This isn't just a small oops. As the source material points out, if you treat a cool season grass like a warm season one in the summer heat, you can cause what's called scalping. You're basically cutting it so short that you expose the stem, and you get this massive browning and stress. You could literally be killing your lawn with one mow and have no idea why. All right, so once you know your grass type, we can move to principle 2. And this is all about changing how we think about mowing. It's not just a chore you have to get done. It's a crucial horticultural practice. It actually shapes the health and look of the entire lawn. So here's the key takeaway: variation. The pros never mow in the exact same direction every time. They have a rotation. One time it's horizontal, next time it's vertical. Then they'll do a diagonal pass. And the time after that, they'll do the opposite diagonal. This stops the blades of grass from getting trained to just lean in one direction. So why is this such a big deal? Because mowing the same way over and over creates something called grain. On your lawn at home, it might just look a little worn out, but on a professional sports surface, it can literally change how a golf ball or a soccer ball rolls. It can actually affect the outcome of a game. This isn't just about looks, it's about performance. Okay, so we've covered what's happening on the surface, but our third principle is about a problem that is often completely invisible, until it's a huge issue. We're talking about thatch. Now, here's the interesting thing about thatch. It's not just a bunch of dead grass clippings. It's this dense, kind of spongy mat of both living and dead stems and roots and all sorts of organic stuff. A tiny bit of it is fine, but when it starts to build up, it literally begins to suffocate your lawn. And here's the magic number you need to know. Once that layer of thatch gets thicker than about 12 millimeters, that's roughly half an inch, it becomes a major problem. It basically acts like a waterproof blanket, and it stops water and nutrients from ever getting down to the soil and the roots where your lawn desperately needs them. But hold on, you can't just go in there and rip it all out. Using that heavy-duty dethatching equipment without knowing what you're doing, well, it's super risky. You can slice right through irrigation lines, wreck your drainage, or just tear up the healthy grass you were trying to save in the first place. This is definitely a job that requires a careful touch. And that leads us perfectly into principle number 4. Because if thatch is blocking the food from getting to the roots, we have to be extra sure that the food we're providing is exactly right. Fertilizing isn't guesswork. It's a really delicate balancing act. So let me ask you a question that every single pro has to answer. If you're using a spreader to put down your fertilizer, when is the right time to calibrate it to make sure you're putting down the right amount? Before you start the season? Maybe once a year? The answer is before every single application. No exceptions. It is the only way to guarantee that the rate you think you're putting down is what's actually coming out of that machine. And getting that rate wrong is a problem in both directions. If you put down too much fertilizer, you get this weak, flimsy growth that's basically an open invitation for diseases. But if you put down too little, you end up with a pale, thin lawn that just gets completely taken over by weeds. Precision is absolutely everything. Which brings us to our 5th and final principle. And this is the one that really ties everything else together. It's all about the process. What happens before the work even begins, and what happens after the job is done. A true pro's work starts with a pre-op check. You get the right tools, you check your equipment, you calibrate everything, and most importantly, you find any problems before they can cause damage out on the lawn. This isn't just about being efficient, it's about preventing disaster. And this quote right here just perfectly explains why this is so important. A dull mower blade doesn't give you a messy cut, it tears the grass leaf. That creates thousands of tiny little open wounds across your lawn. And those jagged edges are the perfect doorway for fungus and disease to come right in and take over. One simple check can prevent a massive problem down the line. And listen, the job is not over when you put the tools away. The final critical step is the feedback loop. You look at the result and compare it to your plan. What worked, what didn't. This analysis is what makes the program better for the next time. It's all about constant, steady improvement. So there you have it. We've seen how these 5 principles, know your turf, master the mow, manage the thatch, balance the fertilizer, and perfect the process, all come together to create that beautiful lawn. But the real takeaway here is even bigger, and it leaves us with one last question. Are these just steps for taking care of grass, or are they a blueprint for building any kind of successful, sustainable program?